It's a wonderful 74 out here this morning, and it doesn't feel too humid. The only problem this morning is that Donna and I had planned to do stilt grass, and we're still going to do it, but everything's wet. We had this severe thunderstorm come through last night. Probably made national news because there was a 32 car pile up in Durham, and there was a Model 3, I think, involved. They showed it on WRAL. Did not look total, did not look severely damaged. Maybe he just stopped with video. I don't know. But somebody hydroplaned. It was during the middle of the storm. Hit somebody else and caused a chain reaction crash, which you don't hear about here very often. So that was unfortunate. There were no injuries though, thank God. And one lady was traveling with her dog, and she managed to keep the dog from running off in the accident, so that was also a positive. But a tree did come down in Durham across the highway on top of a car and killed the woman in the car. We hear about that happening several times a year here with all these trees. I noticed this one maple really leaning in the storm last night. That might be on Don and JB's list to take out, and when JB visits. It's not a very big tree, but it does need to be pulled away from the house to be brought down. And we'll think about it at least. I imagine that would mostly be a pull out of the ground and kind of lean toward the house versus a, you know, come crashing through the house. It's not very, I mean, don't misunderstand that it's nothing, but the diameter is what? It's maybe 10 inches. So we had, let's go look at the rain gauge. So this says just a little over an inch. I thought when I looked in the top one last night, it was like 1 3/10. They're usually very close, but this tree above, yeah, this one is more like 1 inch. Clearly 2/10, maybe 3/10. Anyway, we had over 1 inch of rain. We really needed it. That's awesome. So I'm not going to be doing any watering this morning except for refreshing the cat water bowls. And I think Sam said he might stop by with some friends today to visit kitties. But that would be a little later in the day. Hopefully after I've done in the yard and showered. That would be good. But it doesn't matter. I can stop and we can. But I don't think those kids start too early in the day. So I think all is good. Johnny's up and at him this morning. I've sent him some kitty pictures. And no rain in the forecast today. Or for a few days. I really do like that shirt. It says NASA. It is rocket science underneath it. Another Guardian Angel find. We find the best shirts at Guardian Angel.
Well, my kitten finds them. I don't know that.
Well, we is me and Michelle. Yes. Right. I mean, sometimes it takes us an hour or better to go through all the racks and turn every shirt. Look, especially in the guys section where there's great, you know, graphic shirts or whatever. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like this one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Only way it could be any better is if it said SpaceX and had the SpaceX logo or something. Yeah. But they don't do colorful shirts, so.
No, they don't.
Hey there, Panther. How's it going, buddy? Good morning. Hi, I know you weren't happy during the storm last night, but you were dry. You actually have one of the better spots to hang out because of the big porch. It just works out that way. I did trim my geranium yesterday. I'd say about half of the bloom sprigs went. I'm still seeing the Hummer come up on it a bunch, so that's good. Oh, that's really sweet. I'm seeing some more canna lily flowers have opened up today, the red sprigs. That's awesome because the Hummers won't leave the area here until well into September. So a few more weeks of flowers they can get nectar from is a really good thing. Well, even though it's super hard work, I'm excited to get out there this morning. I like outside as long as I'm not getting bit up. buy stuff, and it's such a good sense of, garbage truck apparently, such a good sense of accomplishment when you can look back on an area that started out not looking very great but looks so much better when you're done with it. So yeah, maybe I'll bring my bigger camera out today when that butterfly bush by the side of the bridge is in the sun, and try to take a few butterfly pictures. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll work 2-3 hours 3 hours again. Yeah, and you know, the first time or two my muscles and the backs of my legs and everything were so sore, but you know, now that we've been doing it for multiple outings, it's maybe just a little bit, but not a ton. Good morning, Gray. There you are. Hi. Hi, sweet pea. Oops. I'm always trying to get the door with my foot, and sometimes I miss. Hi. Aw, you're such a sweet girl. Well, the amount of area that needs to be hand pulled seems a little daunting at the moment. This is where I was headed, in there by that camellia, which I notice every time I come down the driveway needs help. There's the one big camellia and 2 small ones in there. Thankfully, it does okay in the shade, but it doesn't love the shade, so it's not too bad from here on out. I mean, don't misunderstand, there's a little, but you know, it's a whole day of work just to do here and down the side of the walkway here, and then this side headed to the bridge. So Don's trying to get a piece of equipment, I forget what he called it, but basically a bushwhacker, fired up, that he hasn't fired up probably in 20 years. And he says it's got an electric start, and of course, you know, Don drained it and maintained it properly, so with any luck it'll fire up. He intends to use it, and I know the contrast is really bad here because of the sun. Let me zoom him in. He intends to use it on that big area in there after he goes around and pulls out the stuff around the ferns, so we can avoid the ferns. Anyway, we'll get what we can get done in 3 hours today, and then plan for another trip out some other day, maybe Friday.
So this is my 6 horsepower walk behind string trimmer. I do have some strings there. I'm going to try to fire it up. There was no gas in the gas tank, but that does not mean I was smart and I drained the fuel tank. That just means it all evaporated over all these years. So we'll find out. I'm going to put a little gas in it after I check the oil, and it's electric start, which is good because obviously the pull rope had quit. I got a battery, so I'll hook a battery up to it, and we'll see what we can get her. If we can get her to start, keep your fingers crossed. Houston, we have a problem. That little plunger primer has a hole in it, and so all the gas is leaking out. So I don't have a little, I'll have to order one, so I'm trying to say I probably will spend the $10 to get the parts to see if I can get this to work. I might bypass the plunger completely and just run it straight into the carburetor anyway to see if I can get the thing to work. But at this point, for today's, you know, when I really, I'm not going to use it. Obviously, if I haven't said, this thing's been sitting up, I'm serious, for, I'm going to say 15 years. That wouldn't be an exaggeration. I used to cut the grass, but then I got my riding lawnmower with Fran, which was 96. But I used it after that. This thing is really good on slopes and ditches and stuff. You can walk through the woods and it'll just rip the hell out of those vines and stuff, that low cover stuff. It doesn't take down saplings. I always wanted to get me one of those like chainsaw blades or something to put up on this thing, because then it basically would cut saplings and down, but I never did that. But if I get it running, who knows, I might do that, because it's good for clearing brush and stuff. I mean, it's 6 horsepower, and it rolls relatively easy with those big wheels. It'd be great if it was self-propelled or something, but it's not. Anyway, I'll put her up for today. I'll get the gas out first.
Takes good care of me. This is the third time he's hauled off my backs, my whatever you want to call that thing today.
Yeah.
My barrel.
Her barrel. She's a weed pulling maniac.
Yeah, I'm going to be able to finish in here today. It's probably one more barrel full. We're going on 2 hours. I'm trying to make 3. See, I've done in here too. So I guess the next time I'm out here, I'm gonna do this spot. Don's working down there really hard in that tall stuff. Doing a great job. Well, it's 1:10 and I am done with this spot over here. And Don's doing some weed whacking after clearing out around some ferns. And I'm gonna piddle here for a minute, but I'm about done for today. I forgot that it was lit up like a ball field underneath here. Yeah. That's awesome. Last couple times I've come down, I'm so used to it being dark, I forgot. So the switch is right there. I'll remember next time. Well, Sam and his friend showed up to see the kitties and have a fancy coffee, fancy tea. And they had a good time, especially with Midnight. Big boy in the house. He likes company. And so I stopped, and then Dawn stopped a few minutes after me. I'm just out here looking at the spot. I guess when you weed eat it, whack it back, it turns brown, which is not a problem. That's not that we sprayed anything there. It just is where Dawn weed eated the other day. But I thought I'd show you just one more after shot of where Dawn was working with the weed eater, since I stopped kind of abruptly and went into the house. You know, he's just going to keep working through here as best as he can. And yeah, well, this would be a good time of day to do over here when it's not in the sun in the afternoon. This spot right here, I am definitely going to want to pull that out. But you can see here straight ahead, he just left the ferns, and he had, you know, pulled around them and then pulled. I have tried to eradicate the poison ivy up there, and I didn't see any new this year. But I sort of have to be careful. And you can see where he weed eated this way. Even running the weed eater on this stuff is just a lot of work. But if you haven't followed all the days, we're trying to get it whacked down or pulled out before the 1st of September. When, you know, this stuff starts to seed out. So, because it dies in the winter, and then, you know, it comes back from seed the next year. It's not a perennial or anything. It's an annual grass. Best is my understanding. So the more we can pull out before it seeds places, the better. And, yeah. Don's put our stuff up, and he'd probably shoot me if I went over there and started doing more. Oh, he came up here with the weed eater too. I didn't know he was going to do that. I was going to pull it out up here. I'm making tacos. There's some Vidalia onion. This is half hamburger, half pork. Looks like it's ready. I put my own seasonings in it, and I've got lettuce, cheese, sour cream, salsa, and, well, anything else Don wants to put in there.
Just sitting here in the shade playing Pokemon with my pretty girl.
Yeah, we didn't walk today, so you know what that means. We got to go for a drive and play Pokemon now. And we just passed a white Y, and there's a white 3.
Yeah, those Teslas are everywhere.
There's another white Y.
Yeah, gotta beat him off of the stick.
Somehow I figured over here by Vicious Fishes there'd be another Tesla parked on the street, so that's at least 4 while we've just gone a couple miles on Main Street, if you're keeping count.
This is Fuquay Varina, by the way. This is
yeah, well, it's little mini Raleigh now, but, you know, or Cary.
That's just
well, it's not power, but still I could easily see how a car could come through there and miss that. There were several roads closed in Fuquay last night due to trees or power lines down.
Yeah, that's cable. Knock out somebody's internet.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can build the Sunshine Ranch barn from 2014. Well, I've been working on it for 90 minutes. That's not a lot to show, but when you gotta go find every single part to put it back together in the other room in this huge pile of Legos, it takes a long time. Huge pile of Legos. I'm gonna get that barn put back together no matter what, though. I swear it's going back together.